Welcome back to the last video on function composition. We're going to look at the opposite. So instead of trying to compose the function, we're basically decomposing the functions. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the function composition given and try and identify the outermost layer. The outermost layer will be the f function, and then we can rewrite this as f of x equals the sixth root of x. Now the stuff inside the outer layer is going to be the function inside. So that one is going to be g of x, and its function is x minus 5. In exercise 8, we have the question, find the functions f, t, and g such that h of x equals the square root of 3 plus the square root of x minus 5. We need to rewrite this as f of t of g, or f composed with t composed with g of x, where that is equal to h of x. And so we know that that's equal to the square root of 3 plus the square root of x minus 5. Now I'm going to look at the different layers, and I can see that the outermost layer is this square root of 3 plus something underneath the radical, and the radical extends all the way to the end, which means that my f of x function is my outermost function. And I replace this gap, and I've got stuff substituted into it, but I won't be able to substitute anything in unless I have an x here. So I'm placing an x there, so I'll have the ability to substitute t and g into f of x. The next function I'm looking at is this square root symbol inside the other square root. That's going to give me t of x is equal to the square root of x. And then our innermost layer is this x minus 5. That's inside the second square root. So that's going to be g of x. So g of x is my x minus 5. T of x is the square root of x. And f of x is the square root of 3 plus x. Let's take a look at example 9. Given t of x equals 3 minus the square root of x minus 2 cubed, find functions f, g, and h such that t of x is equal to f composed with g composed with h of x. If I look at my outermost function, it's this 3 minus stuff, where minus stuff is x minus 2 cubed. But we need 3 compositions. So we're going to break this up so that the outermost function f of x is equal to 3 minus x. My next layer is going to be this cube. So g of x is equal to x cubed. And then my last layer is the inside. It's this x minus 2. And so when I look at h of x, I need x minus 2 to be the innermost piece. So just to highlight everything, g of x is the cube root, and h of x is x minus 2. I think it's important to remember that when you're working on these, it's not always obvious which pieces will work and which pieces won't. So if you try putting these back into a composition, sometimes that can be the fastest way to check to see if you've created 3 separate functions that when composed give you what was asked for.